And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time. Victoria 3 as the Great Qing. In hindsight, I think we probably went on to per capita taxation a little too early, and that has been stymieing the growth of the nation at this point. I have in previous runs hit a billion GDP before this point in the game. So, while territorial expansion, we're doing much better because we're out all the way up to Persia and stuff. Actual GDP expansion is going pretty poorly. Let's unpause and get back to building boats. With our fleet slowly coming online, we can go ahead and get a few more declared interests. Also, we've got a little bit of an engine shortage because we want to swap everything over to the new improved PMs. Oops. So we're going to do some engine importing. See if we can drive down the price of engines a little bit, so we can swap it to the last PM. Answer appears to still be no. Those imports aren't quite expanding as much as I would have liked. Yeah, okay. Besides that, I think we're on build those engines. Now we're basically just trying to grow the economy and expand our construction cycle. Yeah, it wants to send an embassy. That's fine. Already got an army deployed for that, so that's not going to be a problem. Institution-wise, we basically maxed out our institutions here. We may at some point want to get on old age mansions, but that's 2 techs away, at least. And probably actually a bad idea with this level of unemployment. I've had better runs with keeping the unemployment under control, which is all about just getting construction high enough that you can keep building, which I didn't quite do in this run. So at some point I'll have to come back and basically re-record most of the series and try changing when we did the per capita taxation change. As I think that was the big problem. Now at this point, I think per capita probably is... Oh, no. Oh, we'd still be earning more income apparently under land-based taxation. So yeah, that's definitely an indication that we screwed up the timing. As I hope we'd be hoping by now that we'd be generating more on the per capita, on the proportional than the land-based. Which, yeah, does imply that we haven't done enough to modernize, industrialize. Steel holes for military shipyards is spread to us. Not going to immediately ship over to metal ships. Because right now we don't have the tech for the escort ships to go with our capital ships there. Alright, so we're going to want to expand. What do we want to build next? Engines, probably. Lots and lots and lots of engines. About 40 different engine plants. Start with 40 different engine plants, yeah. And obviously as we build that, we're going to need steel as well. Ideally domestically, probably focused on highest employment first. Okay. So, 40 of those. In theory, we should now more be able to import-export stuff as we finish a bunch of these docks. Really, it's just coming down to having profitable trade routes to do the import-export. Then we're getting a pretty good grain import, which is actually not a bad idea. Grain. Can we add more grain? And then fish as well. We've actually capped out fish, so any fish imports is just going to be lowering the price of fish. Then let's go ahead and take the dip and swap T translations over to automatic. Yeah, swapping the T plantations over to automatic probably actually drop the GDP temporarily while we're building those engines. Okay, we're going to want more construction facilities, obviously. Where do we want tech? No, we'll do construction facilities first. We'll do like... At this point, it's like 4,000 each. So we have like 50 construction facilities. So we'll just do like fill up there, fill up there, fill up there. All good. There we go, improved fertilizers. Military-wise, let's get gantry cleans so we can swap over and upgrade all our ports. Probably followed by moving towards self-propelled torpedoes. I think it's probably the torpedo boats that we want for early escorts. So we can go monitors as well. And we have free trade, so we're fully on board with just giving trade agreements to everyone who asks. And yeah, if everything vaguely goes according to the plan, we should see GDP just sort of shoot up. Let's bring construction sectors to the top. Okay, there's a bunch of construction sectors completing. Okay, in 3 weeks we'll have all those construction projects done, and over the next couple of weeks they'll hire up and allow for much greater and more rapid expansion of our industries. Wind industry is mostly fully expanded at this point, so I think the next thing... Oh, interesting. So someone in our sphere of influence has hit steamers first, which is iron transport ships. Civilian ships. Which isn't really much of a problem. I was actually expecting, with all the construction sectors, the iron price to stack up a little bit more than that. So we have military's good cost reduction. Yeah, even though it's a small amount of close above statement there, but, well, it's a small percentage of close shortage, but it's actually a lot of close. Oh, I forgot to... Before I forget again, everyone to fertilizer, please. And then fertilizer plant over. We'll cycle a week and get an idea of what the change in the fertilizer cost is. There basically isn't. Okay. So in theory, that just didn't make a bunch of grain. See the dip in the grain price there. Okay, so there's some decent iron prices occurring, and steel's going up a little bit. Let's go ahead and queue up like 10 steel plants. And then iron-wise... Hold on. Well, actually, no, those aren't domestic gold mines. Okay. How much will iron? So it's about 20 iron mines. Okay, start with something like that. And we'll come back around to make sure all the railways are providing enough infrastructure. That moment when the domestic filter is not working right. There we go. Okay. I believe we have railways on auto-expand if they're profitable. Yeah. Can we go ahead, some of our very Chinese goods, like tea, are real cheap, so can we do a bunch of profitable tea exports? So we'll export tea, so I'm not gonna bother with the liquor. Tea, wine. They're vaguely profitable. Tobacco. And we need any... Oh, those couple. French, for example. Russians can take our fine art. And then we've got a great source of silk, so making luxury clothes for export makes sense. Try and take advantage of all the trade capacity I just made to do trade. Okay, let's give a couple months or a couple weeks for that to normalize. Yeah, we're probably going to build more engine factories. As well, as soon as Grand Qing is done, we're going to swap over the steamer industry. Which will potentially suck for the 287 pop consumption people, but that's mostly rich people. Oh, pops also apparently consume steamers as well. Again, I think it's mostly rich people. Steel frame buildings. Okay, we've got another bunch of building upgrades we can do. Most notably, initially that's going to let us swap over to covered markets. So it's going to upgrade and put more glass requirements, put more steel requirements, lose some wood requirements. And then as we can afford it, we'll probably want to swap over to... Instead of building more construction sectors, we want to swap over to better construction sectors. And we can see that our tax revenue is going up. From all the successful construction. And we're back in the green. Which probably means we can afford to do some more swapping. Swap over all the low ones. See what that does to the budget. Budget's still stable. We are going to slowly push up the steel requirements, but that means we just produce more steel. So Beijing over next. Oh wait, I know I queued up about 10 steel mills, but apparently we need like 30 for the ongoing change here. Something like that. And we can see the GDP is starting to really shoot up as we're finally getting the industry to industry. we're building iron mines. I think we actually might still want those iron mines, so that's fine. In fact, we may want even more once we build the steel up. We're seeing a resurgence in clothing requirements. Let's keep the clothing so that we can let some more buildings higher up first. Like 50 clothing buildings? Yeah, not expand. Well, we're also running a deficit, but if it wasn't for the deficit, I think we would be not expanding the construction because we still have a shortage of steel. You can see the steel is one of the bigger costs here in our construction. And we did manage to use most of the transport capacity, that's good. Some of our most profitable routes, export routes, are things like clothing and tea. And apparently we got an import route for fish. Okay, it's the import route for fish. Yeah, that makes sense. There's our cranes. Go expand our transport capacity. To do that, we're going to come here. Steamships, yes, everything. It's complaining about them not being profitable, but that's because everything is on wooden ships. But no, we're going to swap everything over to steel ships, including the ports. We're just at a monitor spread to us, so we'll finish upgrading to modern ships, and we'll go monitor as the military support ship. Vietnam. There's monitor. Unless I want to go... Well, we already have skirmish, right? So unless we're going to dive all the way down to trench warfare, which we're not, no military upgrade there for the moment. Vulcanization, so we can do... Yeah, vulcanization, so we can do machine steel tools would be a good idea, I think. And then, ship-wise, upgrade all ships, please. And then over here, stop making the wooden ones, start making the metal ones. Some throughput on the trade centers for a bit. Okay, so we're going to want to build more engines. Another, basically 2,000 engines. So that's 50 more motor industries. We'll go for a little bit more economies of scale this time. 30, 40, 50. And then we'll have to follow that up with steel. Basically 3,600 steel, so about 30 steel plants. We got a bunch of subsidies. I think that's the railroads mostly. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons to push down the price of engines. Doctrines of iron and steel. Yeah, I may want to make more glass. So diplomacy-wise, subjects any of the protectorates at a point where they're good for integration. One of them is. Okay. So you continue to get this GDP to grow. We are in that awkward thing of we're really waiting for the private economy to grow as well. Okay. Do we want any of these techs? We don't have unemployment under control. If we had unemployment under control, we'd go probably human rights into corporatism, so we could do the swing. We could do more taxation capacity, actually. Let's do the taxation capacity. That'll help with generating revenue. Because everywhere that'll just buff taxation capacity 25. That might not make a big difference in a lot of places, but it is basically free revenue for us. Just completing the tech. So let's go back to trying to encourage some exports. We have much surplus of fruits. Let's get some fruit exported. Sugar we'll hold off on sugar because we turn it into food and groceries and stuff. No export potential for tea, sadly. We must be making coffee somewhere. We'll do some coffee exports. Oh, interesting. So there is actually the potential probably for more luxury clothes production. There might actually be... Anyone want to buy... We can get a little bit of opium out. Luxury clothes production would be, well, it would come at the cost of more normal clothes. Oh, that's a lot of normal clothes, never mind. We don't have a lot of rubber going yet. That is probably the transition we want to start making. We probably want to start making rubber for tooling workshops. So what is our current rubber production? 31. I don't think I own the rubber plantations directly. I don't control them directly. I think they're in our subjects. What ones we have? Now, granted, that doesn't stop me from building them, because they're in our subjects. Yeah, rubber plantations are all in Senegal. No, those are Senegal. That's French Senegal. So apparently we're having rubber traded into us. But we had domestic production of rubber. We have domestic production of rubber. We just happen to own some in Senegal, is what's confusing me there. Okay, go back to us owned. Yes, we don't own any, but I think some of our subjects, like Dynam down here, probably does. Yeah, has a little bit of rubber. Okay, so for the moment, we obviously don't want to swap too much to rubber production because we're going to overwhelm the rubber production. But we should start doing that so we can start expanding the rubber production. Swap 1 to rubber production, and then we'll add to the queue rubber. Obviously, this can't be domestic because then we don't have no domestic supplies. Sadly, there's no way. Right, it's domestic and rubber. Sadly, there's no way to say subject. I'd like that to be an option here, because at this point we're just going to end up building everywhere. Granted, if we let it tick a week, all the ones in our market, because we're over demanding it, are going to be incredibly profitable. Yeah, okay. And we'll just have to track as the rubber price changes. Nope, rubber price is improving, so it's time to swap the next one. So we'll do the next two. Back to the moon goes the rubber prices. Should allow for more expansion. While we're doing this, we can also do new import routes for rubber. So if you make rubber, sell us rubber, please. Rubber back up. Let the rubber supply increase a little bit. Rinse and repeat. Yep, this is helping to drive up our prices, our revenue, and the GDP, of course. Okay, so they're all on the rubber-consuming equipment. Easily, that's driven the price of tools down a lot, but in exchange, we've got a whole lot more of an industry going without having to spend construction points on it. Okay, so it looks like some of these export routes are not worth keeping anymore. Yeah, still expand the production of engines, steel, iron's back up there in the extendable region. Coal probably wouldn't be that bad to extend at this point. Yep, the line is now just starting to do the stuff we wanted to be doing a while ago. With the GDP. Okay, so now we got a lot of demand for glass, so we should meet the glass demand. Are we running the best glass PM that we've got in the moment? Yeah. We'll build some glass and then we'll contemplate swapping down from bone china to ceramics, as we slowly crash the price of ceramics. It's not too low yet, but at some point we'll probably drop it down a bit, just by having to build the glass. Start with 40 glassworks. Building a bunch of plantations. In theory, we're now got an oversupply of rubber, hopefully. Well, we'll soon have an oversupply of rubber. So what will just end up happening is we'll just stop importing as much. Bring up transport capacity for other things. And I think we need to go back to building more engines. 30 more motor plants. And we finished all the steel we have in the queue, so we should build more steel. like 15 plants of steel. And then probably some explosives. And we'll do like 10 plants of explosives. And then we're going to build up that iron. 30 iron mines. Just fill that place up with iron mines. And coal, we're going to want like at least 10 coal mines. Let's see how the progression goes with that going to effect. Oh, and I should revisit warship production. No, apparently we got plenty warship stuff. It's delaying. Well, I know what delaying the mobilization of the warships. That's delaying the mobilization of the warships. Now it'll train at the full rate. We'll pay a little bit extra in military upkeep for that, but at least now our ships will be built, which will raise the demand for warships. There's our increased taxation capacity, generating more tax revenue. Electrical power? Yeah, let's go electrical power into telephones. Yeah, probably come up on time to swap over more of the construction. Next PM. Let's go even more. Yep, the economy is growing, the industry is growing. Would have liked this to happen sooner. Again, I still think that probably the swap over tax laws was proportional was probably preemptive. But now it's around about probably when we would have, like, if we reached this level of industry, it's probably when we should have swapped. Because it now makes sense from a tax standpoint. Beginning electrical generation is going to be a bit of a pain, but we should do that. Probably will be in next part. We'll electrify China, electrify the Qing. Oh, and of course expanding the construction is expanding the glass requirements. It may make sense. What is the estimation here? We're getting closer to it being sensible to swap from bone china back to ceramics just because of the demand for glass. In fact, we're probably there already. Not a full swap, at least, but a partial swap. There we go. That's around about where we probably want the price for the ceramics to be. Like 10-20%. And then we still need to build glass. Okay, and we dropped the price for glass, so now we have more money we can put towards construction, so we'll go ahead and do that. like, to this point, I'm just going to bite the bullet. We're going to swap everything over. And then deal with, presumably, the glass shortage. Yeah. Okay, anyone we can import glass from the moment. Oh, and even that's not quite enough glass. Yeah, so such a soon swap over. We've got a shortage of iron, surplus of iron, shortage of steel, shortage of glass. We're gonna have to fix all those things. And looking at the time, we'll probably be in the next part. So I hope you've all been enjoying. I'm gonna let a couple more weeks go by, and then we're gonna go ahead and end this part right about there. So until next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. This is being recorded in my free time, not during a scheduled stream. So I think there will be a part up tomorrow if you're watching on YouTube, because I'm going to try to record one more part today. And if you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around, because again, I'm going to try to record one more part today, so it's going to be a little bit more. Then I'm going to take a short break between the parts. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.